Casey here with Feed Our Children Now, and I'm hanging out with my friend Renee from Work Eco in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So Renee, what do you do on Warp Tour?
Well, I run the environmental program for the tour, which means we work to collect all bottles, cans, plastic cups, cardboard, glass, anything at all that's recyclable and that could potentially go into our landfills and waste stream.
That's awesome. How did you get started with doing this?
I was working for a different nonprofit and met a friend who went on a different tour and needed someone to take over that was environmentally conscious and a hardworking person, and that was me.
Oh.
So that's how I started on Warped Eco.
That's awesome. Was it created just for you, or was it already in play when you took over?
Warped Eco has been around for 8 years. Kevin Lyman, the founder of Warped Tour, started Warped Eco on his own and has had a few different people work for him, and now it's my turn and I'm working on just to keep it going.
That's awesome. It was a lot of fun. I know me and Franny helped you at the Denver cleanup, and it's a lot of hard work, but if you want to volunteer, you can definitely volunteer.
Yes, you can volunteer. You can follow us on Twitter at Warped Eco. You get into the show for free. You get a cool green Eco t-shirt. And you just help us collect all the recyclables all day. It's a lot of hard work, but it totally pays off for the environment.
Yeah, and you guys make a big difference. I've seen it. It's just like cans and cans and cans. Plastic bottles everywhere.
Yes.
That's awesome. So how did you get started in touring? Like, when was your first tour?
Well, I started out, after college, I started working in venues and started working in the music industry. And then in 2009, I began touring with people for the ethical treatment of animals. I became a tour manager from them, and it just kind of snowballed from there, and now I try to tour year-round.
That's awesome. Are you touring year-round?
Working on it.
Working on it?
Got some things after Warped Tour, so...
That you're dabbling in?
Dabbles.
Is it going to be more nonprofit stuff, or?
It'll be more music related.
Oh, that's cool. Are you trying to break into the production side now?
Yes. I stage managed a tour in April before I came out on Warped, and then I have a tour right after Warped Tour, tour managing.
Oh, that's awesome. For a band?
For a band.
That's exciting.
It is.
Are you ready to jump back into that side of things?
I am. Warped is super important to me, and it's a huge family that we all work together with, and the environmental program is so important to the way the whole function, or the way the whole tour functions, and especially important to Kevin Lyman. So that'll always be close to me, and to continue working with Warped Tour in an environmental way. That's the way I'd live my normal life. So whatever other tours I go on, even though I'm tour managing or doing these other things, I always try to make them aware of the impact that their consumption of plastic and cans and everything can have on the environment.
That's awesome. Do you set up like recycling stuff for those other tours you're on?
Yes, I try to. It's hard sometimes teaching people the ways or changing their habits when literally it's so easy. If there's a trash can in a recycling bin, you just put it in the right one.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
If it's right there, why not do it, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it can be hard though. So take me through it.
The cat over there.
I know. Meow. Take me through a typical day for Renee on Warped Tour, starting from when you wake up to when you go to bed.
I usually wake up at 6:30 or 7 every morning, and right from the get-go off the bus, I go to our production areas and our catering areas and make sure that they're set up for the day, that have all of their recycling needs. And then from there, we go out onto the field, unload our truck, set up our tent, and the other person I work with works to make sure that everyone out in the field has recycling bags, including all the stages and all the tents and merch people and all that. And then I work with the local maintenance at the venue to ensure that we have a 1-to-1 ratio of recycling bins, that they're placed in the right areas so that it's really easy for kids to recycle. And so it's good to be able to see the progress that these venues have made. Even a year ago, this venue, for example, didn't have much in the way of recycling at all. So we work with the volunteers throughout the day. After we tear down, a lot of times we'll do an after-show cleanup, which we try to get a lot of people from the tour involved, working with bands, sponsors, and anyone else, production, that would like to help us out, just so that we can show as a tour we're all working together to make a positive impact on this planet and not to harm it by what we're doing on a daily basis.
That's awesome. What's the most you've ever collected?
The most we've collected in one day, I think we did, last year we did 900 pounds. And that's all by hand.
That's a lot.
Yeah, of cans and plastic. So our volunteers work really, really hard, and everyone on the tour that helps us, we appreciate it so much because it really is making a big difference.
It is. How do you weigh it though? Like, do you have someone tell you at the end?
No, we kind of start off the tour with just scales that you kind of weigh the bags. And once you're doing this for so long, over and over again, you can basically tell how much a bag weighs. And on average, a very full bag of recyclables weighs about 15 pounds. So you kind of gauge it from there, depending on the bag size, and if it's mostly cans or plastics and everything. So it's, yeah, we basically can figure out how much all of it weighs by basically counting and knowing the weight of different bags and what's inside of them.
That's really cool. That's awesome. So what advice would you give to a kid that wants to be on Warped Tour?
I found my way onto Warped Tour just by caring about something. You know, a lot of people work with bands and record labels and magazines, and that's one way to do it. But for me, as a person, I care a lot about different aspects, from like animal rights to environmentalism to human rights, and that's something that I want to continue to do, and to be able to tour on top of that is like the best of both worlds. So I think just being a caring and positive person, and being obviously in the right place at the right time, because you never know who you're going to meet and where they're going to take you.
Yeah. And always knowing that every job, doesn't matter what it is, no job is small.
Exactly.
Even picking up cans in plastic all day, you're making an influence, and somebody will notice. So.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's awesome. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's a good one, right?
That's a rough question. In 5 years, I hope to have a band under me that I successfully tour manage and go out on every tour with them, and people that I can work with every day of the year and not get sick of each other. That's a big wish, but I think it can happen. I still do want to work in this industry, music related, but still keep all of my positive influences and morals and ideas in the background, so that what I'm doing on the side, I'll still be helping, and in turn helping other people realize what they can do to make a difference.
That's awesome. So do you have anything else left that you want to let the kids know, or maybe how they could contact you about volunteering at some of the upcoming Warped Tours?
Yeah, if you guys would like to help out ECO and you're going to be attending anyway, just stop by our giant white ECO tent or follow us on Twitter at WarpedEco, and I will return your tweets and we'll get together, we can email, and if you aren't able to commit to a full day of work, just come and collect one bag of recyclables. It makes a huge, huge difference.
It does. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Renee. And everyone out there, come by, say hello to Renee, help her, take one bag, just one bag.
Just one bag.
You can do it. And have fun. See you on Warped.
All right.